It's an sb-221. Imagine that. So the customer states on this deal is that this belonged to him. Then he sold it to a friend. The friend ended up, wow, it does smell like old man dust. Holy cow. The friend ended up passing away. And removing all the drama from the situation, he ended up getting this thing back. Is the long and the story short of this deal. When he got it back, he said that somebody went on and they bought a bunch of Harbach mods for this thing. Harbach mods are good, by the way. We support the House of Harbach around here. He is an official AK sponsor, per se. They put a bunch of Harbach mods in it, and now it don't work. It won't key up. He didn't say if it even turned on or not. So, our mission today is to simply make this thing work. It's like my mission every single time I get into one of these things, is to just make it work, right? So just slid the armor off. And it's full of RG400. That is a very old transistor insulator that fell out of this thing. Got to be very careful with this. The tubes are in it. This is one of the later models because it's got the upgraded panels that hold in the power supply. It's also got the plug that plugs in. And somebody did the RG400 coax mod on it, which is good. It does have the Harbach key-in circuit in it. Heavily modified the ground lugs. They built another switch into the front, but the switch isn't hooked up to anything. They didn't do the Harbach rectifier mod for the voltage over here. Okay. All right. Well, let's flip it over and dusty. Let's see what the inside of this thing looks like, the top side. So we have the Harbach filter board, or rectifier board going on here. Do not have the Harbach caps, and I have a pretty good feeling that on the bottom side of this is where I'm going to end up having my issues. So first let's check our meters. They are working. Yep, they're working. Our diode bias. Yep. They're not open, that's all I really care about. Okay, so I need my probe, the voltmeter with a long probage finger to just the stingers on it so that I can probe down in here. I just have a feeling. Probe here. Probe there, not open. Probe from there. Down to here, not open. Probe from here to here. Not open. From here to here. Also not open. Then from here to here. Not open, and then from here to here. Not open, then the last one in the chain from here to here. Bingo. Okay. So we got conductivity from here. Yep. Then to here to here. Oh, nope, got it. Okay. Got it there too. Good deal. All right. High volt side looks okay. It's got the stock electrolytics in it, and yep, I gotta change that blocker out. This one isn't as important, but that one, man, this thing is soft as bubble gum right now. So let's go find ourselves a ceramic 1000 puff doorknob. Experience has told me that if I want to fuck around, I could find out right here and just leave this doorknob in there and risk it. Or take 2 damn seconds and change this out, and then I don't have to fuck around. This is like, in my opinion, the top 5 things that fail in this amp. The number 1 thing that fails is the filter bank, because, well, it's older than me. The next top thing that fails is, well, this. And the next top thing that fails is the fans. Well, no, not the fan. I'll say the grid chokes are what fail the next. Then the blocker, then this. So my friend Nick Strong, 757 out of Boulder, Colorado, he's a good builder. You guys are all familiar with him. He's over there just building for fun, having a good time. He come by here the other day, and we hung out. We worked on a couple projects together, and we had a really good, productive 2 days of conversation. See, I should not be able to bend this into an oval, right? Well, pretty soft. He showed up here with a bunch of presents. One of the presents he showed up with was a big tray full of doorknobs. Which was like, dude, sweet, right? He's like, yeah, man, no problem. So, thank you, Nick. Just giving you a shout out. Try to give shout outs to everybody. I am fairly 99% sure that the reason that this thing is not keying up is on the bottom side. I almost bet money on that. But we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I don't have to pull the face off, but if we do, it's just 4 screws and lay the face over here, and we'll tune all the input slugs. But he's like, I don't care what you got to do, just get it running. And I said, well, I don't want to mono band it if at all possible, because it completely destroys the value of the resale of the amp. He's like, man, when I die, it's going to sit at a yard sale for $10. Ain't nobody going to know what to do with it. Maybe. Whoever's been in here has gone to my school of thought, or I learned from them or something. These have all got crush nuts in them all the way around. And that RG400, man, well, I'm for sure not the one that thought of that first, but yeah, this thing's never been overdriven. There's a resistor down there, a 22K resistor, that if you overdrive this amp, it lets the smoke out every time. So we're going to prop this up on its side. We're going to plug it in. We're going to see what happens, because I feel fairly confident we'll be okay. Electrolytics all look okay, at least from here. The one plug I don't have, right? We're going to ignore the paper insulator. We're just going to look at this hot lead. Boy, it's winning. That's safe. Okay. I'm sure around here someplace I have the damn adapter that'll allow me to adapt over to that thing, or I could just simply change out the plug for 5 minutes. Obviously voting to change the plug. Wow. Okay. Let's see, we are wired for 220. We are. All right. Let us change plugs. Quantec. Boy, if that plate voltage is right, we got a serious problem. Tubes are very much lit up. This all looks good. Let's grab my foot pedal as that sits there and percolates for a minute. So now he told me he already did the air bottle test on it. That's why we get to skip over that. Very important test. And then, shoot, he just said it wouldn't key up. Oh yeah, dead to the world. Okay, we can fix that. Totally fix that. But let's also, I gotta move you guys over here. Let's go in here. Let's grab the never-ending voltmeter. Let's see, what do we got for volts? Okay, 22, 28, 29. Okay, so the meter on the front's off just a little bit. Okay, no problem. We'll fix that. These are all easily overcomable problems, so. All right, let's figure out why the soft start circuit's not working. We're gonna lay this thing on its back. Or on it, yeah, flip it over. And let's spend some time working on this soft key circuit here. So, step number one, shut it off. Give it 30 minutes, ground it out. So the bottom side of this has got a quarter wave rectifier right here. I guess we technically half wave, but this right here. I'm gonna put a full bridge rectifier in here, which means I gotta modify this here. We're gonna change this, and pull this diode out. We're gonna change this around. This is our bias reference here. It goes over here to this relay, and then this blue wire goes back over here. Pardon me, goes over here, and then this blue wire goes over here for the keying circuit. So we got our hot that comes in from over here, and then our ground. There's technically not really a negative circuit, and I'm pretty sure that's why this isn't working. So let me grab 4 diodes here real quick. We'll do 1000 volt 1 amp, which should be more than enough to draw this entire thing. We'll put 4 of them together in the appropriate pattern, and we'll solder it in here real fast, and we'll see if we can get this sucker to key up, and then we'll check our bias levels. And yeah, give me just a second. Okay, so I misidentified something earlier. I pointed to something like I knew what I was talking about. I know I should not do that, but I did. I pointed at this nut, claiming that this board got its ground from that. It does not. It gets it from this black wire, which is hooked up over here to this ground tab. Okay, so put the full bridge rectifier in, and now this board came to life, because now it's got what it wants. And I had signal over to this guy, but no movement. This coil is wide open. It's gotten fried somehow. It might have had something to do with this BS going from this lead to round it to this lead and whatever. Doesn't matter. So I went to digging, because buried over here behind these flags is a bunch of parts. And I went to digging, and I could not find my sb-221 relays. I don't know where they're at. I've got probably 200 of them. I have no idea where they're at. This room is such disorganized, it drives me nuts. But I found a 110 volt coiled relay little bit more common relay than this open frame widget-majiggy. This is like a 15 amp or 20 amp relay, and this is a like 5 or 10. This is a Potter Bumfield though. Oh God. Never seen one of these like really go back. Well, I have, but very rare. Anywho, replaced it with this made in Japan relay, and now we got key up. What? Now let's go down here and let's take a look at something. What we're looking at is if this needle moves. Right? Oh, we got bias. Now what has also caught my attention is this here. That right there can really represent a lot of problems for the meter. So let's go ahead and we'll shut this off because we've got it all working now. This has been flopping around in there for a long time. As you can see, the meter is all scuffed up on this display face, and it's from this screw flopping around loose. So I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to run it through all of its functions now. So let me flip it over. Yeah, I'm going to pull that faceplate off. We're going to fix that screw, and we'll see if we can get the meter to read a little bit more accurately. Okay. I am in a little bit of a hurry, if you guys can't tell. This guy came to town and he was going to drop this off, and I just don't have any more room, and I need to meet up with him later on today. So I forgot to mention this in the last segment, that this is the output piece of coax. I replaced it with a brand new one because it was too short, but it's all electrically perfect. If we go up here and we're going to look at our Schwer meter, we're on 80 meters at the moment. I got to crank the fluid base down a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so we're looking at the SWR bridge, and when we get higher up in frequency, we can look at the bird meter that's sitting next to it. But because 5 watt elements 2 through 30 or 25 through 40 or 60 megahertz, this isn't very accurate. But this is dead on the money. But 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. We have no pass-through SWR whatsoever. Let me show you drive. Now, we're already on the 2x scale. Okay, so this here is average. It's a 5 watt slug in reverse, and that is a 1000 watt slug in 2x. This thing's getting hot. It's giving off old man dust. This is burning. I love it. Really what we're showing you here is that it works on all bands. The guy that owns this thing, I think he's let his ham ticket lapse, and he's not too overly interested in trying to get it back on the amateur bands, but I don't want to mono band this, so we're gonna just run it through all its paces. Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2. Remember that needle on the far right, you gotta times it by 2. So we've got full output, or we're putting 100 watts in this on sideband. Hello, audio, audio, audio. See 14 to 1500 out of it in 80 meters. So, and this is in the grid position, by the way. Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2. Ah. What's going on with the grid amp meter? Or the plate amp meter? It's got a screw in it too. Hello, audio. There's a screw in there. Look at that. What the hell? Look at this. That's 2 screws I just took out of this meter. And they, like this one I thought was short a meter screw, but it's not. Okay. Hello, audio, look at that. Hello, 1, 2. All right. So now let's re-index this. So we're down to the bottom. Oh my God. Those are the screws that hold the meter movement on in the back. Oh boy, hold on, I gotta take this whole thing apart now. That was fun. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So, okay, meter fixed. Again, this meter fixed. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we're on 40. Let's go take a look at 40. So, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Pass through SWR, input SWR. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Perfectly acceptable. So now pen down over here. Remember we're in 2x. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Working perfectly fine. Okay, so now let's go figure out where we need to be for 20. 20 meters. Here we go. I'll go to AM. There it is. Sideband. Hello, 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 hello. 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 And these knobs I've indexed all wrong. Let's see, where are they? Yeah, that's like friggin' 180 million degrees out. Okay, well, let's lean over the top of the death machine. There it is. Okay. To SSB. Hello. 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 There it is. All right, now we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Now we're pumping with gas. Okay. Hello. Stop it. Hello. It's dust, you guys. It's just dust. Hello. Audio 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Let's go look at this real quick. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Down a little bit, but I'm not going to spend the next 10 minutes hunting for it. So now let's jump over to 10 meters. Now I have been told that maybe, just maybe, this has been modified a little bit to run on the 10 meter band, or pardon me, 11 meter band. Find out here pretty quick. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's got 2 watts worth of reflect going into it. Let's switch radios here real quick. Yeah, faceplate's got to come back off again. Son of a gun. When I had this apart a few hours ago, it's now almost 5 in the morning, this would have never worked, and I just didn't see it. They forgot to add a couple capacitors. Actually, they forgot to add 50 puff worth of capacitance on the 10-11 meter band. So, hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. We go up here. We'll use the front of the striker and the 5-watt slug in reverse. Let's bump this up a little bit. There we go. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Everything's happy. Here. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay. Faster than a 14-year-old kid that's figured out how to tug his wiener. I gotta take this all apart again, take these knobs off. I've only had 2 wires break off this time. I've had the face off. And resolder those on. And let's put this all back together. I'm tired. And I don't like working on high voltage when I'm tired, so I'm making the extra mile push for you, my man. So this time, when I put it back together, I made sure to index all the knobs properly. God. Hello, 1 2. Boy, it gets with it. These old iMacs that are in here work good. Hello, 1 2 1 2. All right, so had to take out and repair both the meters. Had to put a new blocker in it. Had to put a new relay in it. Had to repair the bias / 120 volt DC circuit that's on the bottom. Had to retune the input for 10 and 11. And had to replace a piece of coax. That's it. The meters were the most time consuming. I had to literally take them physically completely apart to repair both of those. Well, I take the face off 3 times. That's my fault. I should have, the 3 times thing, I should have checked all the bands before I put the faceplate back on. That's 100% my fault. But at the end of the day, homeboy gets a fully working sb-220 that has no problems with it whatsoever now. Works on all bands, and he'll be able to use it pretty much anywhere he wants. And this isn't a 220, by the way, it's a 221. I keep saying 220 out of habit, but yeah. Gentlemen, I want to give a big shout out to the Patreon, since the reason I'm putting the extra mile in here, because this actually does belong to a patron subscriber. So your relative power is working, the sensitivity is working, the high voltage is working, the ALC is now working again. It was disconnected, it's hooked back up, then that circuit's all back in play. Yeah. Thanks to Patreons. Thanks to Siglant, Penta, XS, MechMan, Bird, Coaxial Dynamics. And gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up before I fall on my face, because I'm really tired. I'm going to message this guy here in about an hour, hour and a half, see if he wants to come get it, because I'm not going to sit around all day waiting for him. Yeah, man, done and done. Gentlemen, I'll see you. I thank every single one of you. Click, click, click.